All right, hello and welcome everyone. So, Chroma Prime is out, so we're going to talk about Chroma today. So, Chroma did not get a rework or any changes with his Prime, so he's really easy to talk about because nothing has changed and Chroma is not very complicated. But before we get into that, let's get into the visuals of the Prime, and of course the Prime accessories. I'm not personally using these Prime accessories on Chroma, but we are going to show them off regardless. This is the Sindana and Armor set that comes in the Prime Access if you were to buy it. And we're going to show off some random colors for Chroma himself. I personally think that the main body of Chroma colors really well. And there's a lot of different directions to go with it. I've switched it up quite a few times, depending on what element I was messing with. And currently, if you couldn't tell, due to my blue and white chroma, I'm going with ice, as that seems to be mathematically the best one. But yeah, Chroma himself colors pretty well. The armor, I have some minor nitpicks with that may become obvious through randomization. And that is mainly that if we look at, let's say, this one, you can see in the top portion here, this orange, like, underlying color that we get on all these top pieces is the main color down here. That is incredibly frustrating for trying to put together a look. So that is the really unfortunate bit, but I do think that you would usually be using these pieces separate from one another, as these are some really nice legs. And I think the arms work on a couple of different Warframes, and the chest is also nice, as it's not like it doesn't poke out too much, and it's not very overbearing. But regardless, trying to use this entire armor set together is incredibly frustrating because the bottom main color channel is the top's, like, underlying color channel, and that's just no good. So that's how this is, for anyone that was wondering. And then moving on to the Sindana. The Sindana is very simple and small. It actually has been working really nicely for me on my Mesa, which has been very nice. The material that's on it looks really good. And I think is probably the first instance of a Sindana that has like this kind of like really nice, like maybe like a satin cloth look. It's really nice. So there's that for those of you that want a kind of just like really simple, basic Sindana that still looks snazzy. That's pretty much what this one is. Anyway, moving on, let's actually properly talk about Chroma. So, Chroma is an incredibly simple Warframe. He's a real simple boy. He only wants two things, and those two things are strength and duration. He doesn't really need anything else besides energy so that he can use his abilities, so that's what Hunter Adrenaline is in this build for. Everything else in this build is for big strong, for big long. That is all that Chroma requires. You hunt Eidolons with this, normal missions with this, etc, etc. So put all the strength mods in that you can, and also like vitality for some survivability, and Hunter Adrenaline so you have unlimited energy by getting shot in the face. Besides that, I'm using Arcane Energize to make sure that my energy stays topped off. This has saved me in a couple of instances where I would have otherwise ran out without Zeneric. And then Arcane Grace just makes it really convenient because it is a healing thing that doesn't require me to use my operator. So this will keep me topped off in most scenarios in terms of HP, so I don't have to jump into my op to heal. Anyway, this is really simple. This is a build that has been used on Chroma for a long time. The one thing that is basically unique about Chroma Prime as opposed to regular Chroma is that mathematically, because he got a 125 armor bump, we have switched back from fire being the best element to use to ice being the best element to use, as there is about a 3k EHP difference between the two in ice's favor at current. There is, of course, the notion that if you are using fire chroma, which for those that don't know, you switch between your elements by changing your energy color. White is ice, orange and such would be fire. There's also toxin and electricity, but those are useless. Anyway, fire will give you a heal from your two, as it boosts your health, and that also gives you that health each time you use it. So there's the potential for that, but ice also is like reflective and will like have bombard like rockets bounce off you and stuff. So that also has its uses. I could definitely see the argument for someone that just wants to use fire, but just having the higher EHP I prefer. With that, There's kind of nothing to Chroma, because he didn't get any tweaks or anything that really make any kind of difference, or matter, and that's including the tweaks he got a while back. His 1 is this Ice Breath, it's useless. His 4, he takes off his pelt, he loses armor, and it hemorrhages energy, and this ability doesn't do anything important at all, except for make you look like a big nerd. So you're never going to use that ability. What you are going to do is you're going to hit 2 and you're going to hit 3. You're going to hit 2 to increase your armor and give you this nice bubble that will... bullets will bounce off of this. And then you hit 3, enemies shoot you, you get a damage buff, you get an armor buff so you don't die. Your 3 is recastable if you have the energy for it. 3 is recastable if you have the energy for it. Yeah, you pretty much just want to keep your 3 up at all times. You want to maintain the buff once you max it out. And you want to recast your 2 every time it goes down. It's as simple as that. That being said, it doesn't mean that Chroma is like bad or anything. It's just that he has 2 abilities that suck and 2 abilities that you're going to use nonstop forever. So let's jump in to the test. We're going to be doing this level 150, and I'm going to be using my melee weapon that I have been using with Chroma. It's the Kamakura Reaper. Again, it's an incredibly powerful melee weapon. Unfortunately, I cannot use the Graham Prime for this test as it is currently bugged and its combo does not work properly, so there's no point in me testing it since it is going to be fixed as per DE's announcement that it will be fixed. So why would you use? We'll come out on that later, and also the Rubico Prime. But for now, we're just going to use the Kamakura as our stand-in. So activate 3, activate 2, you kill enemies. Enemies shoot me, I'm going to get like a 900% damage buff, and then we're going to womp these enemies. That's pretty much how it goes. It's very simple. Chroma is like... If you've used Rhino and you've used your 2 and your 3 on Rhino, he's basically a very slightly higher damage version of Rhino that is not crowd control immune. And that's also part of why it's really advantageous to use a good melee weapon on Chroma, because you can make yourself immune to knockdowns by using weapons with momentum. But yeah, basically you kill the enemies with your big damage buff, and you can't die because you've got lots of HP and armor. It's really just as simple as that. That's what Chroma does. He doesn't have anything else because, like I said, this is a useless ability outside of Conclave, I think, where this is actually like broken OP. And then this is like so not worth it. So not worth it. Like, this will like occasionally stun enemies and stuff, and like it breathes your 1 at enemies. So if you want to do 2 1s, basically, then that's kind of a thing, but just don't do that. If you were considering doing that, just don't, as you will have much more success not using your 1 or your 4 ever. Anyway, that's Chroma Prime, pretty much, like top to bottom. Not much has changed. This is the Prime version. They bumped his armor. Now Ice is the best element if you're using Chroma Prime, and Fire is the best element if you're using regular Chroma. That doesn't change a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but that's what's going on. There will be videos coming on the Rubico Prime and the Graham Prime, once it's fixed, of course. And I hope you guys look forward to those. I will see you tomorrow.